On today's episode of the Back to the Bird, we're pleased to be joined by repeat guest, NLL Finals MVP, one of the best players in the world, Ian MacKay, chatting the entire Bandits season, the playoff run, some emotional moments for him in a at times difficult year, and then some good stuff about the post-game celebration, everything you want to know about the NLL Finals. Also chat about some news and notes around the league, including the news out of Rochester this week, and just chop it up. Let's get right into it. Episode 140 of the Back to the Bird.
Take your first ride and run, baby, run. If you want a sign, this is it. You're mad, you're magic, you're as hot as a gun. You wanna play with fire, consider this. You'll chase the thrill if it's worth the hit, 'cause you never ever wanna work for it. Take your first ride and run, baby, run. You got a spine of steel and a
What's going on, everybody? We are back again. Don't let the boys get hot. Paulie's winning championships 2 in a row. We're doing back-to-back weeks of episodes. It's a Monday recording. Who are these guys? This is Back to the Bird, brought to you by Cottage Springs. We said it last week. It's spring season. I might have had a little bit of Lake of Bays, vodka and water, rocket pop this weekend, which was nice. So get out there, go give it a try. Like we said before, you can grab it anywhere at an LCBO, gas station, a Costco, you name it, they got it. So get out there and try some springs. But let's just jump right into it. Donnie, maybe I'll start with you. A little curveball. How are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. We're recording this on Zoom, which is a fun little throwback. It takes us back to some of the early days of Back to the Bird. It's also the first episode in legitimately probably 100 episodes that Dan has recorded on his computer. So if you're listening to this, that's good. It means we've made it that far. We've at least got through 1 or 2 hurdles.
Yep.
But of course, I'm forever grateful of Dan's inability to upload, because that got me my start on this here podcast. So it's good to be back chatting with you guys. And had unfortunately not in the lineup on the weekend. It just was local and just trying to stay cool in the heat like everybody else.
Love it. Paulie, what about you? Oh, and Donnie, quick side note. Wait till you listen to the audio that we had to record, because I know you weren't on the beginning of that interview. Got a little choppy. Lost me for a bit, lost Mickey. But again, I said it to Paulie, it's his old time. It feels like a throwback. We're back to the doldrums of like episode 5 territory, where it was just like, I think I once uploaded an episode without even like changing anything, so you can just hear Paulie and I talking about our day like before even starting. But
on that note, by the way, I have a confession after this that I want to talk about, but Paulie, go first.
Okay.
Weekend. Worked Saturday, then my sister turned 50 last week, so we had a little family dinner at my brother's house on Sunday. So just kind of low key, but nice. Brought a couple cases of Cottage Springs, but my brother-in-law's Italian, so his dad and him cooked up a little Italian feast. So just had everyone together, just kids running around eating chicken cutlets and some pasta, and all good, man. Celebrating my sister's big 5-0. So it was cool. And actually, the crazy side note is my brother-in-law and me have the same birthday. So we're going to turn 50 and 40 on the same day this year.
When is your birthday again? Sorry.
September 16th.
Okay, I'm marking the calendar, because that's when I dropped off all those cases to your house before. Dory said, "Oh, these are all going to be drank at Paulie's 40th." So
It's true.
I'll circle it, and hopefully Donnie and I get the invite.
Oh yeah, of course you will.
What's your confession, Donnie?
Okay. I'm so proud of this. Playing in Vegas, traveling from Toronto, not far. But I officially earned 25K status on an airplane.
Let's go.
I might never be a Back of the Bird guy ever again. At
No.
least on Air Canada.
You only got to the base level of points and you're already running from who you are? That's not right.
Yeah. Yep. if I could always select the back seat, but I don't think I'll ever be put back there again on Air Canada. Now maybe I'll get pigeon tossed a few times. It is still Air Canada, but pretty pumped about it. Pretty
Zone 2
pumped.
guy for life now.
It gets pretty much no privileges. You get one free check bag, which is nice. You get
Free
I thought
seating. Free seating.
Yep, I thought you got lounge
Oh
access.
no.
You get like 3 lounge passes, three
Yeah.
like single use loungers, but I don't care. And the first flight I took was to Charlotte, and the gate agent in Charlotte tried to tell me that I wasn't allowed to be in the priority line, which she was wrong. It said 25K on the priority line, and I gave it to her. I was like, lady, I worked my ass off for this. I flew hungover so many times home from Vegas, which is
Yeah.
such a battle of a flight. I worked my butt off for this. You will not deny me of this priority lane.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know how many beers I had to buy Brocky to get this? But yeah, so I mean, we're back to our interviewing schedule. So we had we sat down with Ian MacKay, MVP of the playoffs. Really cool chat to kind of work through the changes throughout his season and kind of moving out the Odor, losing his stepfather, the game he had, and then the way that whole season kind of went out, and touch on a little bit of summer ball, which is obviously fairly topical with some guys moving away from the PLL and kind of going to full-time summer ball. But outside of that, I mean, again, there's not a ton, going on outside of, from a lacrosse perspective, obviously in the NLL is wrapped up, but there is summer ball and there's the PLL. And then there's some interesting news that flew out today.
I was gonna say no news in NLL.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's some interesting things happening down in old Rochester. It seems that the Pagulas are moving away from wanting to own the team, and they're trying to put together a group to. I think, from what I understand and talking to some people, it sounds like the goal is to find a local group in Rochester and keep the team there. And I think that that fan base has gone through a little bit, obviously, in the last little while with their team and kind of their what they thought of as like their championships and their three-peat, kind of moving to Halifax, and, that getting the new team, that new team kind of going through some struggles early, and then, has moved into a position where they're making the playoffs and doing fairly well. It's an interesting thing. You never want to hear it from the health of the league and everything. But I think obviously it seems like owning a couple teams in the league was a bit of a strange thing for the Pagulas, and it's a bit of a tough measuring stick, having Big Brother, get 18,000 a game, and then Rochester kind of struggling sometimes. But I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on it?
I mean, it's obviously not good news, but it's not super bad news just yet. That's basically, I think, the gist, right? It's not a dispersal. It's not anything like that yet, and the timing seems to be a lot better than it was with Panther City, which happened really late last minute. I know there's probably a lot of people drawing those comparisons. It's earlier. There's more time. It's not super bad news yet.
Yep.
Yeah, let's get a positive spin on it. I think maybe trying to get ahead of it rather than hearing the rumors and then all of a sudden hearing they cease to exist, rather than, hey, we're trying to find a solution, and then again. So I guess, but just timing is everything. Just a lot going on in the league with CBA and a team ceasing operations for now until they can be bought or whatever. So again, every time you get this news is not great. You wish you could just not hear this news at all. But yeah, I wonder if it was just kind of, like you say, big brother, little brother, and you just kind of get tired of little brother and just put him up for adoption, I guess.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's quite the way to phrase it. I like that. Yeah, I listen. I think the number one step I would take: jump online, Google the richest people that have ties to Rochester, New York. But maybe they're not living there anymore. Maybe they just want to have some ties back to it. But I don't know. Maybe sell it to the owners of Vinyl Nightclub. That would be.
That means I'd get stock. I'd get some shares then.
Yeah, Yeah, no kidding, no kidding. Or the what? I forget the name of what's the name of the Irish bar there?
Oh, shoot, now I won't remember now either. But that'd also be another good spot.
Filgers too.
That's another one. Felches is across the street, but then
anyways,
I'll think of it.
But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything kind of that you guys wanted to touch on this week, or should we throw it over to MacKay?
No, I think the Rochester stuff is really the big stuff. We have published a few good articles on Lacrosse Culture Daily, keeping track of all of the movement in the OJLL.
Which has been a ton.
Yeah, some big trades. Some guys coming from the West to Ontario, not necessarily like a first by any means, but relatively uncommon. Beach is adding a big name from BC, Josh Mills. And I think we got some good stories coming out on Lacrosse Culture pretty soon. Kind of talking to some of the players individually. So just keep posted of that. Also, Mohammed Joma, I think that's how you pronounce it, is writing for Lacrosse Culture Daily. You might know him as Road to the Minto on Twitter. He's doing weekly Junior A power rankings.
Wow.
And this guy's dialed in. If you followed that guy on Twitter over the years, you know how dialed he is, and you can find his stuff at Lacrosse Culture Daily.
Love that. Now, this is going to be kind of an off-the-cuff, fun little thing, and maybe we can keep in. Is this still a PO Athletic interview?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Donnie, you want to take over the intro of the interview?
Yeah, this interview is sponsored by PO Athletic, as they all are. PO Athletic is skincare for athletes. They have skin cleansers, athletic wipes, and lots of other great products. They just announced a new deal with Summer McIntosh, the Canadian Olympian. And, for you or an athlete in your family, especially athletic wipes, it's kind of like a shower on the go type vibe, for post competition or whatnot, if you have kids who are smelling up the car or whatever. So it's PO Athletic. I'll put the link in the show notes, and we have a code there as well for 50% off.
Now that would be a heck of a gift for any golfer in your family.
Correct.
Keep those in the golf bag, the athletic wipes. Get rid of the swafts.
Correct.
And kids aren't even allowed to shower at the arenas anymore, so maybe get them those things too. But here he is, Ian MacKay. Okay, well, we got him back. Repeat guest. Add another one to the books. Coming off of quite the victory. We just talked through it with Paulie, but we figured we'd get the perspective of the MVP, Ian MacKay. So thanks for joining us, brother. We appreciate it. How are we feeling? We still have we dried out a little bit since the celebrations?
Yeah, a little bit. It's toned down. There's 3 weekends in a row. It was pretty good there. It felt like Sunday, I guess Monday you'd wake up hungover, and then you would you'd have like a cold or a cough, and then Thursday you started to feel better, and then it was Friday, round 2, do it all again. So there's some lingering. I think my fiance, she's got a cold right now, and she's blaming it on me from all the partying. So
that'll happen.
Good. Oh yeah, but yeah, it's been good. It's been fun.
Paulie, did you feel any of that? I mean, afterwards or no?
We went after it hard. Well, yeah, Sunday we walked from the hotel to the rink, me and Dory. Like a huge it's only like a kilometer, but it was like a walk of shame though, because we parked the car at the arena, so like walked all the way back, just like stumbling all the way over. But no, I didn't get sick, man. Actually, usually sometimes I do, but yeah, I'm just trying to get some monster trucks on here. Yeah, I get it. I'm trying to podcast here. But Jesus, I'm trying to tell a story here. What's going on? Yeah, but no, that's the thing with those guys living in Buff though. Like, it's like they get to continue it on, kind of like you're seeing in Florida. Yeah, everyone else had to like go back to work, right, or go back to where they were. But I survived.
Love it. Well, I think what we'll do. I mean, obviously, man, like a really unique season for you.
for a lot of different reasons. But I think we'll kind of like jump back to the beginning, man. Like, was there conversations in the off season for you to kind of like, move to that like full-time Odor position, or was it like just kind of, you snuck up there, you got up there one game and played well, and then it went from there?
Actually, so the conversation started last season, and I think originally the plan was for me to get some more offensive, some more games in at the Odor, but just with our lineup, like we still had Brandon Robinson at the time, and we didn't really deal with a lot of injuries up there, thankfully that year. So I stayed on the D door a little bit more, and then this year we obviously traded Brandon Robinson, and then we brought Clay Scanlon in, but young guy who had never been in a game yet, so it was really just Josh and Kluch on that side. And training camp, I started out the Odor, and I was kind of interested to see how long it would last. You're kind of playing with house money up there, because it's like there's not a lot of expectations, and if you screw up, I'm always able to go back to the back door and kind of go back to what I've known. But training camp went well, and then early on I had a couple big games point wise, and obviously ended up staying up there the rest of the year. I think I want to say there's probably 3 or 4 games where I played like technically full D games, like out the D door, or there was a handful of games I did first and third at the Odor, second and fourth at the D door kind of thing. But primarily offense this year. But I don't think there was like an exact conversation of like, hey, you're playing offense. Like in practice, the last 3 years I played offense every practice, and then I'll play defense in the game. So just kind of went into training camp with an orange jersey on and never took it off the rest of the year in practice.
That's great.
Hey, in those games when he was full-time D, we still didn't see him back there, though.
Is that what they're standing line? Just looking.
Still just shot out of a cannon, gone.
Yeah.
Was there like, I mean, obviously, again, you were up there a lot throughout, even the time you're playing out the back door, right? You're gonna stay and play, and kind of, you're obviously very capable of doing that. But was there like, did you notice that you had to kind of put in some more time to kind of like, figure out certain things, or playing with those guys like every shift, what they liked or anything like that?
Yeah, 100%. Like I think Josh and I had a lot of comfortability just with how much I'd played up before, and even in the PLL, like I would stay and play a bunch, and we would do 2-man games and that kind of thing. So we had a lot of familiarity there. It was more so, like learning our plays and concepts and that kind of thing. And then like, honestly, learning how to shoot. Like it's so different, as opposed to like, I played offense in field in college and a little bit in junior, but I mean, the NLL is obviously the best league in the world, and the goalies are so hard to score on. So luckily, Paulie was mentioning, like, living here in Buffalo, we have a spot we can go shoot, any day we want. So I spent a lot of time in there picking Josh, Dane, Kluch, like Fraze, DeHoga, picking all those guys' minds on different things. And, I wasn't a huge film guy, but as the season went on, like, especially in the playoffs, I watched a ton of film on goalies and just tried to figure out tendencies. And, it obviously worked pretty well in playoffs, but I think that was the biggest adjustment was, shooting and trying to pick the shots, and like shooting to not necessarily like seeing net and shooting at net, like knowing it's probably covered, and, throwing a twister in there, or reaching and snapping something, or whatever it may be. So I think that was the biggest adjustment for me. And I probably got lucky early on, just shooting hard and hoping for the best, and goalies not really knowing what I was doing, but I'm sure they caught on. And like I said, that was probably the biggest adjustment for me.
As like, I guess it's like, as a teammate, you come in and it's like, again, like you say, you had like the couple big games right off the bat, and then it's almost like watch you get like more confident as the season goes on too. Like, I think the one like hardest thing, and I'm kind of speaking for you, but like you get up there, right, and it's like you have comfortability with Josh. We still got Josh, Dane, Kluch, Fraze, right? But then like all of a sudden it just seems like you're not just a guy out there setting picks, loose balls, like, you know, you're taking shots and hitting shots. And just seems like, you know, at first maybe you're like kind of like the third, fourth option, but then those shots, like, you have the confidence to take those shots. And then like we want you to take those shots and you're hitting those shots. Did you feel that kind of like as the season went on, like you getting more confident, like even just talking to you, like, hey, like I see the goalie doing this and like I just missed it. Whereas like, you know, us D guys are kind of like, I'm just glad I hit the net. Like,
Yeah. I mean, you're spot on. I think naturally when you look, especially as an outsider, like as a D guy looking up at the offense, you kind of just see a pecking order, whether there truly is or not. And like, and I mean, I don't think I'm someone to do that, you know, like come in and be like, hey, Josh, give me the ball, like get out
yeah,
of the way. Like I'd obviously joke about it with them and stuff, but like to do that to the guys on our offense would be a little ridiculous. So it definitely took a little bit, like, but I didn't want to like pigeonhole myself into that number 3 left per se,
for sure.
right? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like you don't want to like just accept that role and then not try to branch out. So I definitely found myself frustrated in certain opportunity or certain times throughout the season, especially early on, being like, you know, I feel like I'm capable of doing these things, but like maybe I'm not in the position to do that or whatever it may be. But as the season went on, I got more comfortable, and you know, I think credit to our offense too. Like they could have, especially the like a guy like Kluge could have really been like, screw you, buddy. Like I'm the number 2 guy, or what I think I'm the number 1 guy. You know, kind of push me to the side, but like he was picking my brain. What do you see? Like, hey, what if I do this to try to get you open? Like, and there was such an open conversation all season long. So, you know, not just with the guys, but I think, you know, JT felt more comfortable.
We talked about this on a few of our episodes, just like the advantage that you guys have being able to shoot during the week, working out, and there's so many guys in market and you're able to do it together. Whereas, you know, maybe other teams have a few, like maybe 1 or 2 guys or whatever. And then the majority of guys are like, you know, grabbing their gear, throwing it in the car, going to the office, and then going straight to practice. So it's almost like, I mean, from my perspective, I feel like I almost got worse throughout my career because it's like, you know, you're touching your stick twice a week on practice and shoot around. Like, how much do you guys think that helps you guys from a skill perspective and B, just being a close unit together?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like when I first got to Buffalo, we didn't have a place to shoot, and we were always, I'm sure Scott Loeffler just got annoyed with us because we just would complain about it all the time. Like, yeah, we have a facility to work out, and that's great, but that you can only do so much, you know, in the gym, and you don't have your stick in there. So we were able to last. I think it was like 3. Honestly, it was after our or the year going into our first championship is when we got the facility to be able to shoot at, and like it's game change. Like any morning we want, it's like open to us to go shoot. So like, you know, like you weren't good on the Saturday of week 4, like you can be in there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday trying to figure it out. And you know, we work out Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So Wednesdays and Fridays were kind of our designated days to go shoot. And
Yep.
we were lucky, like our third goalie, Big Ev, he goes to Brock, so he's not far, and he'd come over and take shots. And you know, Devlin Shanahan, who used to be on the team, you know, kind of bounced around a bit this year. I think ended with Georgia, but he's a practice roster goalie trying to make a team, and he's coming to Buffalo, driving an hour and a half to come take shots from us too. So, like having a goalie to be able to shoot on too was huge and helped us. And then to your second point, like we and all the guys in Buffalo, like we do almost everything together. Like I was talking to you early on, like we're all members of a golf course here. You know, like our wives, fiancés, girlfriends have all become really good friends. You know, like we're planning dinners or whatever it is. Like we do basically everything together here, and I think that you know, that definitely carries on to the floor and, you know, only helps us, you know, come game time. And we have a big group here. Like, I think there's anywhere from 8 to 12 of us that live in market here. And, you know, we do a good job, right? Like Lucas Nielsen, who I think he only played in 1 game this year, but he lived in market, and to see his progression from week 1 like in the weight room, huffing and puffing, almost throwing up, to the end of the year where he's running 300s and 150s side by side with Dane, is like, I think that's just like the kind of the culture we've been building here and been trying to build. And obviously it's been paying off pretty well for us.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, you go to 5 straight championships. That's no joke. But talk to us. I mean, we touched on it a little bit actually in the last episode here. One of the cooler stories I think of the year is you turning the tragedy of losing your stepfather into a 5 tuck night, and it's like you're kind of walking on water, and it's like one of those moments where everyone watching at home gets chills when that happens. So maybe walk us through kind of just the feeling that you had, and what it was like to kind of be around teammates, and then more than anything just be able to play the game you love, to kind of express your emotion that way.
Yeah, that was like, I get chills even right now, like thinking about that night. And, it was only a couple days after, my stepdad passed. And there was a while there where, like the month leading up to when he was passing, like we obviously knew it was coming. And, but like he would have some days where he was like really good. And it's like, oh, are we turning a corner here? And maybe we got a little bit more time than we think, or, then he'd have really bad days. And it was like group text, like, hey, like stay close to your phone, might have to come home like before you know it, kind of thing. So that month of December was definitely a tough month. And I remember my mom texting, just saying like, I think this is it, like we're getting ready to go to hospice, maybe get up here. And so I went up, and my brother was home from school. He's a junior at Binghamton. And we're just, it's so like it's such an interesting thing, because it's like what's going to happen. You don't really know how to prepare or what to do. And like my brother and I are like, do we like just sit around and wait for this? So we kind of just tried to occupy ourselves. And we like hopped around. He lives in my mom lives in Bradford, so we went like an indoor golf simulator. We went to the casino. We like went to the Mandarin and treated ourselves to a big dinner, like that kind of stuff. And it happened, and he passed, and we all got together and as a family, and had a good cry, and had a couple of drinks in honor of him and stuff. And then, I remember texting Dane like when I found out, and he's one of my best friends here, and he's just like right away was like, well, whatever you need, let us know. Like it's not just you going through it. Like we're a family here, and whatever you need. So, it was a couple days after that he texted me just checking in, and he was like, obviously game coming up like pretty soon. Like, you want to do anything to honor him, or what are you thinking? And I was like, maybe I just throw some tape on my helmet or something myself. And he's like, no, like that's same thing. He's like, that's not how we're doing it. Like, it's not just a you thing, it's a us thing. And so he was the one that came up with the idea of having the helmet stickers on our helmets this year, which just shows the leadership and the person he is, but also the team we have. Like, walking into the locker room and guys giving you hugs right away and that kind of thing. And so obviously the support was unbelievable. And then going into that game, like so many mixed emotions. Like, I always have so much family at games, and that was one that I didn't have a ton of family at, obviously. And like you kind of think of like, hey, maybe like he's going to be with me this game, and maybe it's going to be a good game, or maybe I'm just too emotional and it's going to kind of take over, and I'm just going to have to battle to get through this one. And I remember getting emotional during the anthem, and then obviously the game starts and you strap it on, and you're into game mode real quick. And then I scored the first one, and it was like I pointed up to the sky, and it was just, I'm not someone who does like celebrations or anything, but like that's just like emotion taking over. And you don't really have control of yourself in that one. And so that was kind of cool. Getting that first one, I was like, okay, monkeys off the back, like not thinking about it too much anymore. Like, let's just go out and play. And they kind of just kept dropping, and it was kind of in my rhythm there a little bit. And definitely one of those moments, like you said, where it's goosebumps and chills, like watching it back and thinking about it. And I'm not a huge believer in like anything like I don't even know what the right word would be, but like he was definitely with me and with us that game. Like there's no questions asked. Like, just like a higher power kind of thing, just like overlooking you and helping you through something like that. So many different mixed emotions, and just thinking of my family and the guys on the team and how amazing they were to me. And obviously a bit of a winded answer here, but
Yeah.
one of the cooler nights I've ever had, and one I'll definitely remember forever.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's one of those things like life is it's a bit weird because like you can get so caught up in like your day-to-day schedule and maybe you don't check in with family or see family that often, but then a situation like that could like almost create, like there's a positive memory to it, right? There's like that, you got to spend all that time with your brother doing all those different things, kind of leading up to it. And obviously it's a horrible thing, but then you kind of turn it into a positive in that game, and then it's something every time you think of them, you're going to think of that game and think of everything that went well, right? And it's kudos to you, man, for playing. And I know that's not an easy thing to do. So it's and again, it created a moment that I don't think a lot of people will forget anytime soon.
Yeah, no, it was, and just to kind of add on to it, like, I mean, obviously lacrosse, Native American game, medicine game, like so true. Like there was nothing I was looking more forward to than just being with the guys and, kind of like stepping out of all that. And, for my family who like people who know me like fairly well, my uncle who played and everything that he's went through. And my family's been big in lacrosse forever. And, so I'm sure my mom watching was obviously super emotional, but I'm sure
Yeah.
it was medicine for her too and our whole family. And so just really cool to still be able to be a part of a team and another family to rely on. It's something I'll always remember.
Well, let's go into the playoffs and just like kind of we talked about it like on the last podcast from kind of like my perspective, but like I think we all maybe had the same one, but it's like we just had to get not just we had to get through that first game, but if we get through the one and done, I think we felt pretty good going into series against anybody. But I don't know what your kind of thought was in the old guys.
Yeah, I mean, the one and done, no matter who you play, is petrifying. Like anything can happen, and I mean, we were probably a part of the weirdest game of NLL history.
Yeah,
Like it was insane. Like obviously, two good goalies, really good goalies, two great defenses, two good offenses. Like I don't think San Diego really deserved to be the eight spot, but like
dude, yeah.
just goes to show the parity of the league this year and how tight it is. But yeah, just to score all our goals in the first half and then only let them score one in the second and be able to squeak that one out. It was kind of like sigh of relief. And it was like, okay, I like you said, I don't want to diminish any other team, but like our confidence level going into any series was pretty high. A 3-game series, I feel like we're going to win 2 or 3 against anyone in the league. So like you said, just trying to get through that one and then get into the series.
And I mean, yeah, again, it was an interesting game, right? Which is so low scoring and two very high powered offenses. But you guys worked through that one, and then what's the thought process kind of moving into the next round?
Yeah, I think like still nerves because you're running into really hot Vancouver team, like pick up Delbs and they go on their run. I don't know what it ended up being, like 7 or 8 in a row they rattled off. And, one of the first wins they had was against us. So, kind of sour taste in our mouth from the last time we played them. And it's unique, and I'm sure every team tries to do it, but like I think we actually like truly did feel like underdogs in that series, and media is talking, and all the hype about Dobbs being back, and he's obviously a really good goalie, but I think that just kind of poured fuel on the fire, and kind of helped push us through that one, and I forget the scores of the game, but it feels like it was forever ago now, but the first game I think ended up being a close one again. And then, game 2, they were up on us in the third, like came out hot in the third quarter, took a bit of a lead to us. And, Chase scores a crazy goal and kind of momentum turns to our way. And we're able to end that one off in 2, which was a sigh of relief, with the way the series was set up. I think we were the 2 in one weekend and one the next, and the other series was 1 the first weekend, 2 the next. So it was kind of a sigh of relief knowing we could watch the other series and know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and Paulie talked about that too. It's like you've got kind of got that advantage, right? Because you got that, and you got the scheduled game on the Friday, right, rolling through to the next round. But sitting down watching that, because again, you mentioned it, you got to watch Sask and Halifax, right? That they
Yeah.
played. So how much did you gain? Do you think that was a big advantage, just being able to see that?
Yeah, I mean, first thought is like, please go to game 3
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. Sunday night.
short. Yeah, a Saturday, Sunday, and do a Friday at the end of the week, like real short week that no one's used to in the NLL. And, you hope that they just beat the crap out of each other. And, they come in, whoever wins that series comes in a little bit more beat up. But one of the crazier endings to a game I think I've ever seen in that game 2. And Sask pulling that one out. And then, I remember I was with Dane watching it and just kind of like not necessarily scouting it, but just kind of like watching as a fan more so, trying to see who we're gonna play. And then once we found out, it's like, okay, dial it in with the scouting and that kind of thing. But I vividly remember, um, actually, this was going into the Vancouver series, I guess. But I remember like watching Ryan Smith shoot on Delbs, and then like a twister going in on them, and I'm like, okay, like something like that can go. So like I was practicing that shot a lot, and then same thing going into the Saskatchewan series was like watching Halifax shooters and what was going on Frankie and just trying to like go practice and mimic that as best I could. And it's just I think it shaped out how it should have been, 1 versus 2 in the finals. And I mean, again, 2 really close games to start. I think there was like tied at half times or 1 goal leads at half times of maybe all 3 games until game 3 when we kind of ran away with it. But I mean, a really young SAS team that was, different than what we saw in San Diego and Vancouver. They're really systematic, especially defensively, and they're young and they push transition really well. Um, so trying to figure out, kind of game plan for them. But obviously, it all worked out in the end for us. But really really cool feeling after it all. But
I figured I'd get the extended Zoom going here because we haven't even gotten into the celebration part of this or the amount of times that Paulie sat you down and told you that you were really good there. So we have to yeah. I mean, again, what's you go you win, we win that game in Buff in front of all those people. You get the trophy again. What's the feeling this time around when you pick that thing up?
like holy shit, like we actually did it again. Like because going into the first one that we won, it was like, can we do it? Like we've been to 2 and we've lost 2. Like, can we get over this mountain here? And then the first one was like, okay, finally we did it. And then the second one was kind of like validation, like back to back. Like that doesn't really happen that often. And it was a different season, kind of snuck into playoffs and went that route. And then this year it was like, you know, like I said, I was like, holy shit, like we actually just did that. Like only one other team's ever done that in the NLL. And, it's just like, wow. Like, and then, like you said, do it all 3 of them in Buffalo in front of our fans, like so incredible. Like our backbone all the time. I think 5 sellouts we had this year. Like, and then maybe a 6-1 was the final, the game 3 of the finals. So like to do it in front of our fans and be able to celebrate and like, I mean, it was unreal. Cobblestones afterwards, like you couldn't move. Like it was ridiculous
It
everywhere we
was
went.
it
Yeah,
was
that's
crazier this year at Cobblestone than last year for sure.
Dude, it was like
It was like mayhem.
I think yes, you walk in and I walked in with the trophy and people were like out in the parking lot. So like I'm trying to sneak in like the back door, but
Yeah.
there's people around there. People are like trying to grab it and take pictures. And I was just like, get behind the bar because that's the safety zone. No one can get back there. And
Yeah.
like got back there and Daryl, the owner of Cobblestones, he treats us unbelievable. And we're starting to drink out of it right away. And we lift it up and people are going nuts. And I mean, more of a personal thing, but like obviously like being named MVP and like the arena chanting and stuff's like really cool, and you don't necessarily like take that in. But like at Cobblestone, like the whole bar started chanting MVP, and it like I was like what the hell is going on? Like at a bar after a celebration, like it's just crazy. But I think the funniest part of Cobblestone was they had like that roped off area in the back for the family, and there was a security guard working there. I think they just like got a guy off the street and put a security shirt on him. He could have been asleep. Like fans coming in for autographs, like pushing wives and fiancés out of the way. Like it was. I'm like looking at this guy. He's just like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what you want me to do, but it was hilarious. But pretty cool.
Um, what was the and then after that, you guys went out on the town?
Yeah, we did. We were at Cobblestone, and then we went, I think, 500 from there.
Yeah.
And then same thing. Like it was kind of quiet when we got there, and then naturally as the night goes on, it gets busier. So they opened up a back area for like just us, which was pretty sweet. And um, my fiance, I'm the locker room DJ, so I was trying to get like our win song and like different songs like "Live is Life" or whatever it's called. Like that kind of became our song in the playoffs, and everyone was posting it on their Instagrams and stuff. So I went up to the DJ and was trying to get our songs on. And so they're playing, and I can't really like be there, but then go back to the celebration. And I left, and my fiance was like, what is going on? And where have you been for the last hour? Like, you've missed everything. And so that was obviously fun being there. And then I think from there it's a little fuzzy, but I think we ended up at Rec Room on Chippewa, and it's pretty dark after that.
Dude, it's so funny is going back to the bouncer. So once they opened up that like second room for us at the rooftop, like kind of same thing. So like everyone's just trying to pour into this, like it's another outdoor spot, and like the bouncer at the front's getting like overwhelmed. And we went in for a bit. So I had a group of buddies, and my one buddy, he used to play football in Windsor. He's a big guy. He's like 300 pounds, like my size. And every time he drinks, he just like has to start like bouncing or becomes buddies with the bouncers. So legit, like we came back out. He's like, hey, what program these guys run here? That's it. Legit starts working the front door. So he's letting people in. And then he's like, Paulie, this guy good? Yeah, let that. Okay, you're in. And he's like stopping people, stiff arming people, not letting people in. And then I'm like, dude, he was there for like a good 45 minutes, just fucking controlling the door. And then I'm like, all right, let's get at it. Let's get some more drinks. And then Scott Loeffler comes over. He's like, next year you want a job? We're hiring you. You're the new Buffalo Bandits security guard. We're hiring you. That was amazing, man. You did such a good job. He was all over my buddy. Just like loved it. It was so funny. It was amazing. He just plain clothes, just stiff arming people. No. I didn't know. He may have had a clicker in his back pocket running the clicker count.
Who was I kind of ran this by Paulie too. Who was your party or your post game MVP?
Oh man, as the night went on, I couldn't tell you because, like I said, it got pretty dark. I don't remember much. I remember being at Rec Room for a bit, and then all of a sudden I woke up in my bed. But early on, MVP was our third goalie, Big Ev.
Oh yeah,
He was buckled.
Yeah,
He was
that is true.
like in the locker room, like just like big. And this guy's like 6'5", like I don't know, 270. I don't even know if that's doing it justice for him. He's a unit, and he's probably working security with Paulie's buddy. But, he like in the locker room, just like the biggest smile, like arm around everyone, like so happy to be there. Like it was hilarious. And we're like, this guy needs a water and a BioSteel before we would leave the locker room, let alone go to another bar. So he'd be my sneaky MVP. I don't know how long he ended up making it out, but he was a weapon early on.
He was there.
And then let's fast forward a bit to the parade. Something I mean, again, one of the craziest videos I've probably ever seen. And I didn't even know about it until we were recording last week and Donnie sent it over to me because Paulie was talking about it. Did you see that whole thing happen with the kid or what? Like, what
Oh
was
my
the
God,
rundown there?
dude, wild. So in the moment, I didn't see the wind up to the push. I just saw him like on the ground, and like I kind of look, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. Like, why is Keegs on the ground? And then just like went back to like I had my shirt off on the stage. I'm like just like in a different world up there. But then I saw the video, and it was like, oh my God, like you threw a kid, like you just straight up underhand tossed a kid into the crowd, and like thankfully, like it's our trainer Ryan's kid, and he's a little beauty, and he's athletic, and he was able to kind of like flail his arms and legs to be able to land athletically and not get hurt. So, we can laugh about it now, but oh my God, Dane got it good for like in
Yeah,
our
poor
Bandits
guy too.
group and our Chiefs group. Like it was like everyone was talking about it, everyone was asking about it, and I felt bad for Dane for a little bit because like I mean, that's just a tough look, obviously, but he took it on the chin pretty good and had some fun with it. And like I said, thankfully Keegs is all good, but that was one of the wilder things I've ever. The crazy thing is like he's gonna throw the mic.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like obviously you don't want to see a kid get thrown off the stage, but like imagine being in the crowd and just getting pegged with a mic off the top of the head. Like
That's the
crazy move as well, but
That's the craziest part of the video. Is like, if you got to watch it a few times through. The first time you just see a kid go flying. The second time, like you see a mic boomerang into the crowd, even like bouncing off the kid after he pushed him off. It's like that could have just knocked somebody completely out cold.
the if you watch it, like you gotta watch, like you said, you watch it multiple times. Like you could watch it 15 times to see the different reactions. Like Weiser's like, oh, like what the hell? Belter's in the back corner, like, oh my God, what just happened? Vino's up front with his kids and like slowly grabs his kids and like is pulling them back. Like all the reactions are incredible. It's ridiculous.
It's wild, man. We again we kind of walked through the playoff run and everything with Paulie in the last episode. But was there any kind of key moment that stood out to you in that last game, or like just like where it was like holy shit this is happening, or like just like a time of reflection or anything like that?
Obviously not till like later in the game. Like I think it was a 1 goal game at halftime, and then we started to kind of run away with it as the game went on. And I think it was probably with like I don't know 2 or 3 minutes left where the diva was out on the floor, and you know the whole offense kind of just like had a big group hug and started like hugging each other individually. And I'm like looking around. I finally look up at the clock. I'm like, oh wow, like yeah, it's happening. Like we did it. And I think like Cam Wire's scoring was like a nail in the coffin kind of thing too. Like I look back at when we beat Colorado and Max Adler scored, and it was like, okay, like we got this thing. Like just one of those moments where it's like that's got to be deflating, and how are you going to come back from that, especially that late in the game. So, those two kind of stick out to my mind early on. And then just obviously some cool embraces, like hugging Vino. Like him and I have been together in Buffalo since I got here. It was his first year in Buffalo as well. So to kind of go through what we've gone through has been really cool. And my fiance coming on the floor and finding her, and my uncle Jim, and just little ones like that, and just some pretty cool embraces, and pretty cool to have those people and celebrate with as well.
Just butting in here. First of all, sup, Mickey? Congrats. Sorry.
Thank you.
Did you guys know Cam Wires hasn't lost a championship yet? Lomi? He's won 2 Archers, 2 Bandits since coming out of college.
Yeah, it's insane.
He hasn't played a season of pro lacrosse, box or field, and not one. Yeah.
There's a couple guys, like I think Dill Robinson for us is 3 for 3. DeHoga might be 3 for 3. Like just those guys who kind of came in later. It's like
Full spoiled, eh?
ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Hey, when we got to touch, like, not that you would have thought, but when you get named MVP, like, was there ever a thought, like, hey, like, because again, all through playoffs, like, super consistent, big goals when we needed it. But like, when you're sitting there, like everyone's kind of like, I wonder who's gonna get it. Were you ever like, I could have a shot at this? And then if you didn't think that, what'd you think when your name gets announced?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, there's no way Matt Vince is gonna get this over me. So
Yeah, exactly.
no, honestly, like I think in the back of your head, like in the back of my mind, it was like I've played really well. Like there's probably a chance at this, but like if you look at it technically, it's finals MVP, and I didn't have as good of a final series as I did semis and first round. So first thought was Dane stepped up and was really good for us in that finals, and then obviously Vino, like he was unbelievable all playoffs as well, and I don't think he's ever won a finals MVP.
I
So
think you might be right, which is like crazy to think.
yeah, wild.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it
But he
almost
has
makes you
enough.
feel
But at
bad.
this, but he has enough
Yeah,
MVPs and stuff. So it's kind of like I can't give it
yeah,
to him all the time. But whatever.
that's fair. But so those were kind of the first two I thought, and then you hear your name and you're like, holy shit! Like especially like we kind of talked about the year I had, and stepping up to offense this year, it was just like, damn, that's kind of crazy. And I'm someone who plays with a chip on their shoulder, and I feel like in the past I might have been slighted on other awards, and obviously that's not what it's about. It's about winning championships, and but those personal recognition and personal awards are obviously nice too. So it was just kind of like a nice like pat on the back, almost like "fu" kind of thing, where it's like I'm going to win a championship and do what I can to help our team win, and was luckily named MVP in the process. So it was kind of like a nice fu to everyone else as well.
Okay.
That's great, man. It's awesome.
Hey, if you know who had you as MVP, another little pat on the back. Dangerous Dan Dawson.
Did he?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, he had you. After he's like, I had him. He was my number one.
That's such a
So
classic DOS move, saying I had him after the award.
Afterwards.
yeah. I knew it. I knew it.
I knew it the whole time.
Yeah.
Taught him everything he knows. That's another one. He'll take that. Anything else you guys got for Mickey before we let him run? Oh, yeah. You know what? Maybe,
Yeah, full time summer ball this year.
yeah, that's something we wanted to kind of maybe just touch on quick. We've had you for a bit here, but I mean, again, you guys are rolling through with an absolute super team, but what's it like kind of just jumping right into the summer ball and playing with familiar guys and then also some other pretty great players?
Yeah, it's been good. It was it's definitely unique with the PLL summer ball situation, not being able to play both like you have been able to in the past, but um we've had some success in the PLL and had a lot longer career than I thought in field, and everything after winning in the PLL was just has been a bonus. And I'm kind of at the point in my career where it's like traveling every single weekend all year round, like now engaged with a fiance and planning a wedding, and we've never had weekends to actually go do stuff. And so there's a whole bunch of different things that kind of went into the decision. And then after our chaos season ended last year, I joined them for the Man Cup, and snuck a game in and was able to get a Man Cup ring for that, which was pretty cool. But I also think it helped me with my decision, and being comfortable coming into the locker room right away, like just a lot of the same guys, and just being comfortable. You play against them in the NLL and stuff, but once you're in a locker room with them, it's a little different. So it's been good. I haven't played a ton of games yet. Kind of banged up from NLL season, and trying to get back into it a little bit. But we got a big one coming up on Tuesday against Peterborough, which will be a good game, obviously. So fired up for that. But it's been good so far.
What? How many games you got to get in now? It always changes. Huh? Do you even know?
I don't even know. I know
Six.
like it went up this year to 18, back to 18 games, and like our agreement for me playing was to get like 14 games in, I think. So I'm already kind of right at that with missing some games from playoffs, and then just trying to get healthier to get back into it. But I don't know if there's a minimum you have to get still. If it's the 6 games or whatever it is.
It's 6. Yeah.
Still 6.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
God, the boys must have loved seeing the schedule get increased in games if they're on a per game basis. That is living. I love that.
No, no one really gets paid in that league anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That was just me, a 6-year summer ball vet volunteer. Halfway through playing senior, I found out guys were making money. It's like, what the hell?
Wait a minute, you guys are getting paid here? It's that classic movie clip. You guys are getting paid?
That's good, man. And then where is the Man Cup this year?
Out west.
It'll be out west, yeah.
Nice.
But
Well,
it seems
that'd be a cool. Thank God you're not planning your wedding for the fall this year. That's
yeah. We're pretty limited on what we could have picked anyways with my schedule for a wedding. So, we're next September, so not while we're in Vancouver, thankfully, or hopefully if we are in Vancouver. But yeah, it should be cool. Peterborough's gonna be a tough one. Brooklyn, like when they get a full lineup, they got a good squad too. So, and then out west, like I think it's pretty tight out west right now too. I think New West is kind of running away, but I think Victoria and maybe Coquitlam are right there too. So, senior balls is picking back up again. So it's pretty cool.
Gotta love it, man. Good stuff. Well, I think that kind of covers everything I wanted to chat about. Paulie or Donnie, anything else you wanted to throw in there?
No, just want to say, man, you're a really good player.
I'll share my fiance got a picture of me and Paulie with a good hug. I think he was whispering in my ear that I was a good player. So
that actually is a sick pic, though.
That
might be the episode. Maybe that'll be the episode picture that we put out with this thing.
Yeah.
But man, congrats. Obviously, a lot happened for you this year, but it seems like you channeled it the right way and really found your stride, man. So from a viewer perspective and a fan now, it was cool to watch, and congrats to you guys for running the table a third time, man. Really cool.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me back on. Nice to be a repeat offender here. So hopefully we can do this again next year.
Maybe for the 4th. Who knows?
Yeah, fingers crossed.
All right,
congrats, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys. We'll see ya.
All right, what an interview. Sat down with Ian. Living the life, man. That full-time Buffalo life is seems like it's working well for the whole team. Just producing a lot of talent, and it seems like they're getting pretty close. And the golf membership thing he was explaining to me is
it's like one of the greatest deals of all time. And
I've never heard anything like that.
Yeah, I golfed there last year, and it was kind of again towards like the middle of the season, but like have a full pool, like gym, like full country club vibe. So again, course was decent from what I remember, but yeah, like a sick setup.
That's great. But yeah, I think outside of that, stay tuned to Lacrosse Culture. Get yourself some article reading, because I'm learning lots. Whenever I read Donnie's stuff, I learn a lot of things. I like listening to that podcast too. Whenever when you're doing that one with Dan, that guy, we got to get that guy on soon. But yeah, again, we appreciate you guys listening.
I got a funny story. Speaking of golf, before I forget it, but just kind of ties it all in after Florida winning the Stanley Cup. But when I went to the RBC Open, we were going to this concert, and then we were having a bite to eat, and I thought I saw him, but you've obviously seen him on Barstool, but the Canadian oldie guy. Yeah. So Ryan Oldham, actually like a lacrosse player, and from Georgetown. Anyways, and I'm like, I don't know if I've ever met him, but anyways, I was going to the bathroom, and then all of a sudden I hear like Paulie, and I like look over, and it's him. I'm like, hey, what's up, buddy? He's like, dude, how you doing? So we start having this like chit chat, and I'm like, just kind of like, dude, like, what's going on? Like, he's like, dude, my life's crazy. I'm like, yeah, buddy. Like, and then the whole time we're just shooting the shit. people are coming up like, oldie, let me get a picture, take your jersey off. Like just constant girls, guys, whatever. And then I'm just like, yeah, man, like I was laughing during your Maple Leaf and things. He's like, wait a sec. He's like, don't worry, we'll FaceTime. I'm like, FaceTime who? So he FaceTimes the Caesar guy. Like,
Big C's.
Big C's. So he FaceTimes Big C's and he's like, just wait. I was just going to tell him to fuck off. Don't hang up. So the guy answers the phone. He's like, hey, fuck you, Caesar. Hangs up on him. dying laughing. Calls him back again. We FaceTime this guy like 3 times, picked it up every time. And then he's giving it back to Oldie, telling him to fuck off. It was so funny. I'm just like, what world am I in right now that I'm talking to Big C's? I got this guy. He's the one that approached me because I think him and my brother played. So he's asking about Dan. He's like, hey, how's Dan doing? We tried to FaceTime my brother, but he was thinking he was coach or something, so we missed him. But I would have died if we got my brother on FaceTime with this guy with his jersey off, with the 6-pack shaved in. But that's my.
Gotta get him on the pod.
Yeah, we should. Just an absolute electric factory. But it was like, it's just so funny. This guy is, whatever, a construction worker and obviously he's doing well, like in Barcelona. But like the amount of people in like this short 15-minute conversation I had coming up to him, I'm like, this is crazy.
The internet's a crazy place.
Yeah, man.
Quickly somebody can become like a micro celebrity.
Yeah, man. Like it's nuts. And he's just like, dude, he's like, it's nuts like this every time. Like, good for you, buddy. This is wild. But anyways, that's my funny story. We FaceTime Big C's a couple times. I told him to kick rocks. Like, I'm just like, what's going on here?
That's you could have given me a million guesses. I would have never guessed that it was Oldie into Big C's running.
Yeah,
that's so good.
Wild.
Good stuff. Well, I mean, again, we appreciate you guys listening. We're gonna try to keep this thing moving. We'll see. We'll have to talk as a group about our little summer break here, but. Yeah, if you got the time, you're around Friday, June today, when this comes out, there's a Burlington Chiefs golf tournament. So maybe you'll see the guys at Joe Dogs or something afterwards. But who knows? But yeah, we appreciate you, Cottage Springs, Kilo, PO Athletic, and Ian MacKay for sitting down with us. We'll chat with you next week.
Peace.